With a hooey or hitting a loo. With a hooey or hitting a loo. Breakfast with Bob.
And Poncho Man! Thanks everybody for joining us. Day 2, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful Huggles on the Rocks. We're brought to you by EAS, Myoplex, Hoka One, Polar Velofix, Normatec 4 Seasons Hualalai, and Amio Power Breather. Our next guest, he goes by a number now, 7:40:23, the fastest Ironman ever run, Mr. Tim Don.
I was going to say, that's not my phone number.
7:40:23, that's you. You should like tattoo, something like that.
I have got a tattoo. No.
How you doing, Tim?
Yeah, good. It's always nice to be here in Kona, and so I cannot complain.
So, 3-time Olympian. How old were you when you made the transition from Olympic distance, ITU style, draft legal racing to this non-drafting 70.3 Ironman? Because it's like going from 100 meters to a marathon.
I was 35.
Yeah, I mean, and so that's late to make that transition.
Yeah, but I was still very competitive in the ITU Olympic distance.
Yes.
And I really enjoy the intensity of the racing. And in England, Ironman is not as big as over in North America and Germany and so forth. And so with 2012 being a home Olympics, I really wanted to try and qualify for that, but unfortunately I didn't. So that was the kind of like, hey, let's give this. And 70.3 was growing, and it was a nice stepping stone, as you said, from ITU and whatnot. And then, to 2013 was my first year racing long distance.
What was the toughest part about that transition?
Well, it was emigrating to America with my family. You know, that's a big move when you're when you're in your mid-30s with no definite job waiting for you. You know,
Right.
you've got to prove yourself again. That was definitely the hardest as a family.
You're basically starting over, right?
Absolutely. Sponsors like schools, houses, furniture. You really are starting over all again.
And when did you start to feel that, okay, I'm going to be okay here? That 70.3 is something I could be good at?
It probably took me about a year, I would say. I had some mixed results my first year when I jumped over in 2013. I was definitely on a steep learning curve. But with working with Julie Dibbins at the time and still now, we had a long-term goal and plan, and we didn't want to rush it because the dynamics of racing 70.3 and then onto Ironman are so different from ITU.
And then that transition again from 70.3 to Ironman, how long did you take to make that transition? So you spent 70.3 a year or two and then moved on? It's not like you had a lot of time to waste.
No, absolutely. No, 2014 I did one Ironman. 2015 I did one Ironman. Last year I did 2, and this year I've done 1 so far. So this is only my fifth Ironman.
That's good.
We're learning all the time, and it's a brutal distance to race, and obviously here there's the unique factor with the conditions and the fact that it's the only race where everyone turns up, which is a shame. And I mean, it's not a shame that everyone turns up here, but it's a shame in the other races. When you race ITU, you go to a WTS.
Every race
is like, everyone wants to be King Kong. Well, in Ironman there are so many races and they're so globally spread out that it's hard for us all to turn up and race every time.
Well, and that, is it hard for you to get motivated when you go to a race and there's only a couple pros there?
No, I love it. Are you having a laugh? I put on the number.
The less the better.
I'm a racer. No, I don't care who's there. No, not at all.
So you don't, when you're looking at the Ironman list, you're not thinking, okay, there's Jan Frodeno, and you just, right. You just worry about you.
No, I like to look at lists and see who's racing, because certain athletes have different styles of racing,
right.
And then you can, look at their results and so forth. But in terms of, I love racing the best.
The best in the world.
Yeah. When you beat Mo Farah and Bolt and those guys, don't you want them to get second? You don't want them to be injured and whatnot. So, you truly
want to race against the best.
A real competitor would want to race the best of the best. Yeah.
And what have you enjoyed from that is a different style racing because it's draft legal. There's a lot of tactics going on. There's some tactics, but it's pretty pure. The best guy's going to win on the day.
I don't know if I disagree. I think the sport's evolving and changing. I think we're seeing a lot more tactics involved. we're seeing athletes not using their weapons to their full potential because of tactics. And the race can be dictated through various aspects of it. I do think, we're not seeing full gas racing like we always used to with the likes of in the 90s and early 2000s. I think there are cat and mouse games going on, which is brilliant for the sport. I think it makes it more exciting.
Very cool.
And it's developing the sport. I think everyone's stepping up a level, and it's going to be a fun weekend.
When you made that transition from ITU to long distance, what were the thoughts of folks back home? Were people going, well, what are you doing?
No, to be honest, I think most of them forgot about me.
They forgot who is he? What?
Yeah, no, totally. If you look on the UK websites, I don't think there's a big triathlon website in the UK, and they did not do a report on the pro field at World 70.3s.
Really?
And Emma Pallant got second and I got third. So, it's a very much an Olympic country. I always say triathlon, ITU is a bit like Formula One. It's a global sport that isn't so big in America. And maybe Ironman is,
NASCAR.
Like NASCAR or Indy, where
that's very good.
It's well known everywhere, but it's a real North American and German sport. But no, without a doubt, I mean, the fact, we don't have that many 70.3s, and Ironman, goes to show it.
So when I look at what you did at Ironman Brazil this year, 44 swim, 4:06.56 bike. That's the one thing. 244 is, you are a great runner, but 4:06.56 is an amazing bike ride. You've been working with a specific cycling coach.
Oh, and it was 18 kilometers short in Brazil, the bike was.
Was it really?
No, it wasn't.
Like, what? It's funny because we were talking yesterday. Said, Frau, it was Sebi. That was 4K short in Germany. Says, you can't look at the times.
No, it was accurate. No, I've been working with Matt Bottrell for over a year now.
Right.
And he works with Julie in conjunction, and we've got a great working relationship. And we've worked on my position, my training, how I pace myself on the bike, my confidence. We've really taken a holistic time trial approach, and he himself is an ex-professional cyclist, and still now, I think he rode 17 minutes something for a 10 mile the other day, and he came out to Boulder and did some training with me. So it's definitely brought a new component to my game, and that's what was needed. We said to compete with the likes of Jan, Sebi, and virtually every other German. We needed to, as you said, I've in the past shown pedigree running and swimming, but we needed to up our game on the bike, and slowly we've worked at it. So we'll see.
What is a bonnet cut?
What is a what?
A bonnet, your hair. The bonnet?
Having a bonnet, well, bonnet's your hair, and if you get it cut.
So bonnet cuts, it's not like a specific hairstyle.
A bowl cut, that's when you put a bowl on your head and you just cut around it.
But a bonnet, it means a haircut.
Yes,
I'm like, watching this video, it's like, I'm getting a bonnet cut. I'm like, what? Okay, what the hell is that? So from the Olympics, being at the Olympics 3 times, what was your favorite part of that? There's the whole pageantry of the Olympics is so special.
Well, I think you've said it. It's when triathlon, especially in 2000 and 2004, when triathlon wasn't
first time,
so well
right?
known,
Yeah,
it put us in the limelight as a sport. And I think now I truly believe that triathlon is a mainstream sport, and it's just growing and growing across all distances, from mass participation to being a professional. And I think it's just that. You're in the Olympic Village with, other world-class athletes, and they're genuinely going, they're excited to hear about the sport. They want to talk to you about it. And I really think that, that side of it is fantastic for our sport. It really is.
And being at that first ever Olympic triathlon in 2000, I was there, and just seeing this little sport, which started, 1974 and first time here in 78, and all of a sudden you're on that world stage, and the crowds, from talking to McKeely Jones, everybody else, it was like 10 deep. It was the first event. The women's was the first event, and I think you guys were like the second day.
Next day, yeah.
Next day, and Simon Lessing and Simon Whitfield. Talk a little bit about just that experience that day.
Oh, it was bonkers. I was in a team with Andrew Johns and Simon Lessing, and Simon, I don't know if people are familiar, he's pretty much the god in ITU back in the day.
Absolutely.
And,
5-time world champion.
And just a just a real gutsy racer, and AJ was world number 1 and I was, I think, 21, so I was just riding on their tailcoats enjoying it. But yeah, no, I remember, I'm stood on the start line and I look behind me and see the Sydney Opera House, and I'm just like, wow, this is for real. And yeah, it was just one of those surreal experiences, and without a doubt it's my best experience of the 3 Olympics.
Yes.
As a whole.
Yes.
Games. I mean, I remember running with Peter Robinson, who is an Aussie, and it was like, wow, this noise is deafening. It was, you just you don't really experience that so much on the Queen K.
No.
With tumbleweeds blowing and so forth. So yeah, no, it really, as I said, brought the triathlon into the main limelight.
Well,
awesome.
And the cool part was that Australia was triathlon crazy. Where you're going to Athens or you're going to Beijing. It's great.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're in a triathlon crazy country. You have an amazing venue, and you've got crowds that are through the roof just anxious to be at the Olympics, but specifically they're knowledgeable about the sport.
And I think, we were lucky in some ways that the first triathlon was in a country that was
absolutely
triathlon crazy, and and they just, it was also one of the only events that was free as well. Hence,
yes,
everyone came out, and it's hard to get tickets for Olympic venues, and if you do get tickets, you're often paying through the nose. So I think that's another, great thing about our sport. I remember I was in London watching, and I was in Rio actually watching as well.
Were you really?
Yeah, and just seeing the people lined up on the Coco Cabana and in Hyde Park. It's just it's brilliant. Love it.
So when you look back at, because I don't know how many other pros who lined up in 2000 are still racing. I don't know if there's any.
Yeah, thanks. Making me feel old now.
But not just racing, but racing at a high level. I mean, really, it wouldn't be out of line. Yeah, it wouldn't be out of line for you to win this race. You're the type of guy who feels that when you go to the starting line, there's really no reason you can't win, correct?
Oh, you've got to believe that you can fight for a podium, and this year more than any other year, I feel I'm in shape to be one of those guys that can, be there or thereabouts. But it's an Ironman, there's so many variables. But first of all, you need to turn up, healthy,
right?
Positive, and you've got to have done the work at some stage in the last 3 or 4 months, and I believe I've done all of that. But yeah, if I'm there, top 10, top 5, I'll be over the moon.
So
I'll cover my costs.
Hey, that's the hard part, right?
Tell me about it.
That is the hard part about flying to Hawaii, potentially bringing family or friends.
No, unfortunately, I couldn't.
You're by yourself. So last year in Brazil, I think you were like 8:04 and were second.
Yes.
Right? And then this year, 7:40. And take me through that when you're seeing splits or you're seeing a clock and somehow those times don't quite register. You're going, wait a second, what?
I think 2016 I was actually injured.
I'm sorry.
I'd only run 28 kilometers the month leading up to the race in total, so I was never going to have a stellar. And obviously Brent went 244, 245. He just missed the then world record. So it's a fast course. The conditions are fast. But this year, though, I didn't. At about 13 kilometres into the run, the Team Bravo guys were on the corner, and they said, "Keep on going, you can get the record." And I had to ask them, "What record?" I genuinely, I didn't know. And they said, "If you run a 2:48, you'll get the world record." And I was like, "Oh, it wasn't even on my radar, on my horizon." I just wanted to win an Ironman and feel I'd done justice to my training, and and that was the goal. And with about a couple of kilometres to go, people are going, "You're close, come on, you're close." And as I've said, does that mean you're 10 seconds slower, 10 seconds over? And I remember turning into the finish chute and I couldn't see the clock because the clock was facing the media.
Facing the crowd.
So I really sprinted all the way, and it wasn't until I looked behind and I was like, oh, wow, yeah.
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, yes, it is.
That is wild. What is it about that course?
It's a C swim, and it's an M shape from right to left.
Yeah.
And the bay pushes right to left.
So you have a little current.
It's a wetsuit swim as well. This year we were lucky. There was a Brazilian athlete who is an amazing swimmer, and he wanted the swim preem, so he just laid it on. Harry Wiltshire was on his feet, and I was on Harry's feet. So within 100 meters, we were in a pace line. Just didn't have the sight. Just follow. The bike course is flat, smooth. It was maybe 15, 16 degrees centigrade.
Yes.
It had rained in the morning, so it wasn't hot at all. It's a 2-lap course.
So good crowds.
Good course. there's really not. There's a couple of dead turns on the course, but it's smooth roads. And again, the run has one hill, which everyone talks about because it really is steep, but it's maybe 200 meters long, and it's maybe 23%. But once you're over that, it is the flattest run out there. And again, the weather's smooth. There's one U-turn you do once. Apart from that, it's laps. So it's always been a fast course. The women go sub 9.
Yes.
The last couple of years it's been won in a sub 8 hour time. It's just that time of year the weather conditions suit fast racing. It's a shame next year I don't think it's a championship race, unfortunately. So they might not have a stellar field.
Does this course suit you? Because this is a. I think it's more difficult than people think, especially on a bike.
It's a heck of a difficult. Yeah, I don't know if it suits me or not, but I've trained for it. As best I can. I've trained here for a couple of weeks in February. The last couple of years, obviously on the course.
Right.
I'm here 2 weeks before when I've raced here. I don't know if it suits me or doesn't suit me, but I know the demands, the wind, the humidity, the heat, the competition.
Right.
Obviously on the bike and the run, the fast swim, no wetsuit. I don't know if it suits me. I'm excited to race, so that's a good thing. But I don't know if there's horses for courses. I think if you can do your homework and preparation, then you should hopefully execute to the best of your own ability.
What would it mean to you to win this race?
It'd be pretty cool, I think.
My
wife would be happy. And I think my kids would, because every time I get on the podium, I bring a medal back. So I'm like, oh gosh, I need to bring a medel back.
I better bring something for the kids.
They don't know you get a finisher's medal. So.
They think Daddy brought that back just for us.
But no, I mean, I think in outside the Olympics, it's the biggest race there is. Especially now, WTS don't have a World Championship one-off race. It's that point
Series.
system. So I think this is every year this is the standalone event, where you truly are the world champion.
As an Olympic athlete and as a Ironman athlete, have you been more recognized, more media, more sponsorship from which?
It depends what country I'm in, to be honest.
Yeah.
When I go back to England, I think all the older age groupers know who I am, but the young guys, they're like, who's he? Is he a pro? Is he in my age group? But no, in America, no, I'm not recognized at all. I mean, I'm not American and so forth, but go down to Latin America and Europe and so forth. But no, I think that's the great thing about our sport. We're competing the same course as the age groupers. So,
yes.
When they see a Phelps time or a Mo Farah time, they very rarely race on the track. But when they see, I don't know, a Switzerland Ironman time or Brazil, they could race that and they can appreciate the difference and so forth.
Right.
And, the fact that we start very close to each other and we mingle in the transition, things like that, just make it so unique.
You've traveled the world. And you've spent a lot of time in Brazil. What is it about that country? You seem to really love it down there.
Oh, it's just what's there not to love? I mean, you speak to Tiago, who's a Brazilian racing here in Team Bravo.
We just had him on the show.
So you can see the energy and life he's got, and he's just a typical Brazilian. And I took my wife for the first time to watch the Olympics for 9 days, and she was blown away by it. And hopefully, we're going to take her parents across at some stage. Culturally, it's just vibrant, and as a country there's so much diversity from Rio, Sao Paulo, then I've raced in the north, in the rainforest and the beaches, and it's just visit Brazil.
Visit Brazil, exactly. Hey Tim, best of luck on Saturday, man.
Thank you very much.
Love it. How about a round of applause for Mr. Tim Don? Pancho Man, take us out.
With a hooey, oh hitting all do, breakfast with Bob.
Pancho Man!